At 11:44 p.m. on April 9, 2024, after closing my retail shift in downtown Phoenix, I called an Uber from the employee entrance on Van Buren, grateful when a silver Toyota Camry accepted within seconds, license plate matching the app, driver named Mateo shown with 5 solid stars. And as I slid into the back seat, the interior smelled faintly of lavender detail spray, dashboard screen already set to my apartment in Tempe. Small talk felt pointless after 10 hours on my feet, so I popped in earbuds, noting the phone's route ETA of 28 minutes. Yet within 2 blocks, the GPS voice said recalculating, and the blue path elongated south instead of east. Traffic lights shimmered on rain-slick asphalt as a freak spring shower pelted windows, and the Camry's cabin lights briefly flickered when Mateo's charger cable fell from his phone, screen going black before he reconnected it. The moment the display lit again, my app chimed with a push notification that read, "Alternate pickup confirmed. Enjoy your upgrade." The map now listed our destination simply as home, primitive block letters replacing my saved address. I leaned forward to ask, but my throat clenched, because in that instant, Mateo's reflection in the mirror was grinning. Yet the radio that had been silent crackled a half-second burst of conversation, featuring my own recorded voice after a mile. Streetlights grew sparse, warehouses replaced apartments, and the car took the 202 off-ramp signed closed for construction, despite no cones blocking the lane. My phone data vanished, bars dropping to SOS only, but the Uber app kept streaming a 3D navigation view not matching any highway layer. Green arrows floated above the roadway, bending us down Ashwood Trace, an abandoned frontage road submerged in desert weeds, and a single halogen lamp ahead illuminated a lonely bus stop where a middle-aged man in thrift store suit hunched, arm raised. Mateo braked gently, back door auto-unlocking. Without rain on his coat, water droplets suspended on fabric like glass beads, while my own app now displayed dual passengers, icons overlapping like Siamese twins. Miles ticked while the desert swallowed residual city glow, sky moonless. Digits that scrolled simultaneously along the Camry's infotainment as real-time captions. A shiver rippled when I noticed the front passenger seatbelt buckled, though empty, indentation of someone invisible pressing leather. Odometer rolled 66 miles, and the dashboard lights glitched, numbers rotating into letters forming Ashwood Loop complete, then reset. And outside through tinted glass appeared a looping landscape. Same saguaros, same derelict billboard for a shuttered motel passing every 40 seconds, proof we circled. Just before 1:22 a.m. on November 11, 2023, while I was driving Rideshare to scrape Christmas money along the fog-slick coastal stretch of Highway 101 outside Eureka, California, the Uber driver app chimed with a surge fare from a pickup pinned near mile marker 71, a service road turnout I knew held nothing but a chained access gate to redwood logging trails. Yet the rider's rating showed 5.0 with 70 trips, and the name simply read, "C Miles," so I accepted, eager for the bonus, and followed the blue line through drifting ground mist until the glare of my Subaru's high beams revealed a lone figure standing precisely where the pin hovered. Back to me, long gray coat snapping in crosswinds, swirling pine needles. As protocol, I tapped I arrived, but the countdown to cancel never appeared, and the door behind me unlatched without pressure. The man slid in wordlessly, fog billowing with him, though the rear view showed only an imprint in darkness, not a solid face. The app flashed destination already paid. Harbor Reclamation Yard, an abandoned dockyard 2 counties south, and the route colored crimson instead of standard blue. Uneasy, I merged onto the empty highway, aware the odometer rolled backward. 157,432 miles, 2.1 fewer each minute, and every mile marker we passed repeated 71, 71, 71, like the road had slipped a record groove. My dash cam should have captured the glitch, yet its preview screen froze on the timestamp 1:23 a.m., though we'd driven 10 minutes. But a gravel rough whisper answered from the speaker vent by my left ear rather than the back seat. Dead mileage must unwind. The app pinged new text. Driver O46M, letters flickering. My payout ledger shrank by dollars each time the odometer lost a tenth. At 2:07 a.m., the Subaru's infotainment hijacked itself to archived local news audio. A 2019 segment about an Uber driver who vanished after accepting a ride from this same turnout. I crested a rise, and the scenery changed. Instead of forest, my beams swept over rusted cranes and tidal mudflats. The reclamation yard somehow materialized without off-ramps. Subaru rolling onto warped pier boards, engine ticking like a clock. Phone map marked arrival time 2:09 a.m., the crimson route folding into itself and erasing, replaced by a banner. Trip in progress, do not end. I turned to address my rider, but words died because the back seat was empty, save for looping lines of moisture tracing a silhouette, still dripping. The dashboard gear indicator slipped to neutral unaided. The Subaru rolled down the rotted pier toward black water. In reflection on the windshield, I finally saw C. Miles' face. My features bleached, eyes twin speedometers spinning backward. Desperate, I yanked the parking brake. The lever locked, but the wheels still turned, wood planks popping under weight. I bolted, key fob in pocket, sprinting along pier toward highway glow far off, not once daring to check the car. Dawn Patrol sheriff units found me walking Route 101 shoulder at 5 a.m., mumbling coordinates. They towed the Subaru from the yard where it sat neatly parked, engine cold, odometer exactly zeroed, like newborn. I no longer drive nights, yet each November 11th, my dashboard resets trip meter to negative mileage and my face in rear view wears that half-second late grin, warning me the dead still flag rides. On July 30th, 2024, after wrapping a late shift bartending in Nashville's Gulch District and missing the last bus to my apartment in Antioch, I ordered an Uber at 12:37 a.m. outside the neon-washed loading dock, relieved, when a black Honda Accord, plate 5ST RCE, confirmed in under 30 seconds. Driver profile, Aaliyah, 4.99, 620 trips. Her selfie, framed by soft curls and friendly half-smile rain, started needling asphalt as the car eased to the curb. Turn signal clicking a heartbeat ahead of the alley's lone strobing sign, and I hustled in, backpack slung across laps, sticky with condensation. Inside smelled of vanilla vent clips and something metallic, almost like tinfoil warmed over flame. Aaliyah greeted me by name without turning, voice low, radio set to silent FM static that pulsed whenever we passed streetlights. The trip estimate read 24 minutes along I-24, traffic light. Comforting, except my phone briefly flashed duplication. 2 identical rides running, both charged to my card. Before I could investigate, LTE bars dropped to 0, even though downtown towers still loomed bright behind us. At the first intersection, the Accord's brake lights cast red over puddles, and the infotainment announced in a genderless synth voice, unlike the normal navigation, route update, passenger preference, taking local streets. I hadn't touched the app. Aaliyah murmured hope that was okay. Headphones hid beneath her curls, single cord disappearing into hoodie pocket. She pulled onto 8th Avenue instead of Broadway, a seam of cracked pavement where warehouse shells rose like dark ships either side. Each block we passed displayed boarded businesses I'd never noticed in daylight, every facade spray-painted with the same white tag. 5. A lone streetlight flickered ahead, revealing an intersection the GPS labeled Echo LN, though city maps show no such street still. The synthetic voice insisted, "Turn right." The Accord obeyed. Echo Lane narrowed between unlit chain link and drainage culvert, asphalt glistening with deeper water that splashed wheel wells. The rear view reflected only the dashboard lights, no face. I coughed an awkward joke. These shortcuts always feel horror movie. Aaliyah chuckled, yet the sound issued through rear speakers like surround demo, her shoulders unmoving. "Helps avoid surge zones," she said twice, overlapping herself by half a second. On instinct, I checked the child lock. Button glowed amber, engaged. My phone buzzed. New notification from Uber. Rate your recent trip with Aaliyah. Confused, I tapped view receipt. It showed arrival 12:48 a.m., 10 minutes after pickup. Fare 0.0, destination Echo Lane Transfer Point. Under driver feedback, my own typed comment appeared. Perfect ride, felt safe. I hadn't written it. I tried force quitting, but screen froze, brightness dimming until only reflection showed, headlights flaring behind us though no vehicle followed. Ahead, chain link opened into an improvised lot where rows of rideshare vehicles idled engine off, hazards blinking, synchronized. Blue-white flood lamps hung from utility poles someone had rigged to generators, throwing harsh shadows that quivered as we rolled to a stop at a painted line on the gravel. The voice intoned, "Passenger handoff complete." Aaliyah shut off engine, left hazards blinking. Outside, drivers from other cars stood motionless beside their doors, each wearing earbuds, heads bowed as if listening to the same conference call. Their passengers, people my age still clutching phones, filed toward a prefab trailer at the lot's far end, drawn like sleepwalkers. Aaliyah finally turned, eyes unfocused, smile too wide. "Just a quick exchange," she whispered in stereo delay. My door locks released with a soft clack on their own. Rain intensified, slanting under the lamps. I refused to exit. I demanded she drive on or return me downtown. She raised a hand, but instead of reassuring gesture, she pressed a small clicker. The dashboard timer started counting down from 030. Behind us, more Accords and Camrys eased up, nose to bumper, building a queue. Every rear license plate ended 5ST RCE. My pulse hammered. I cracked the door intending to run, yet water pooled inches deep, revealing something worse. The engraved 5 tag sprayed earlier wasn't paint. It floated on the surface, thin plastic stencils drifting like blooms torn from packaging. Under each stencil, faint luminous letters shone through standing water. Names, hundreds, scrolling in place. My own appeared, flickering into visibility before slipping under the silt, still 5-starred. The trailer door opened, releasing cyan glow. A figure wearing Uber-branded windbreaker beckoned, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other, filming wide-angle passengers queued, then vanished through threshold, though the trailer looked no deeper than a shipping container. Lightning forked overhead, momentarily killing flood lamps, and in that darkness, the static radio in our Accord spiked volume, voices chanting the star symbol again and again. The countdown reached Sport 15. Aaliyah's smile flattened. She spoke without sound, lips forming, "Your turn." She opened her own door, stepped out, merged among the inert drivers who now lifted phones simultaneously, screens white-out recording. I lunged across the console, slammed her door, punched drive. Seat sensors howled safety chimes. Gravel sprayed as tires spun. The timer hit 0, but instead of alarm, the entire infotainment blanked, engine warning lights flared red. Steering weighted like cement, forcing wheel toward the queued exit lane funneling to trailer. Fearing entrapment, I jammed into reverse, fishtailing, clipping bumper of a Corolla, no horn, driver unmoved. I floored through the gap between rows, headlights carving slices of mist until I bounced onto real pavement beyond the lot's boundary, and the steering loosened. Rear-view mirror showed flood lamps blinking out one by one, lot receding into murk. No pursuit. 3 miles later, LTE returned. Phone rebooted at 1:10 a.m. Ride canceled by passenger no-show. My bank alert pinged a $150 cancellation fee plus Premier Exchange service, non-refundable. Days after, Uber support denied such fee, claimed driver Aaliyah deactivated June 2022 after rider complaint about unauthorized detour. Local news search turned up missing persons same night. 5 bar patrons last seen entering separate ride shares downtown, phones dead near mile marker I'd passed. Police shrugged at my account of the lot. No such access road listed. But every new driver ping I get now shows under trip options a shadow tier named 5-star Echo, price always 0. I swipe away, but sometimes acceptance chirps itself. ETA set, and I must hammer cancel before the countdown starts. Because if the ride auto-commences again, I know I'll be routed back to that gravel field, clipboard waiting to record one more perfect customer satisfaction, my silence traded for a 5-star rating that never lets you leave. The next time your rideshare pulls up, look twice. That 5-star ride might cost you more than a tip. If these true Uber horrors kept you gripping your seatbelt, like, share, subscribe, and smash the bell icon so you'll never miss the next destination into darkness.